히브리서 11장 Hebrew chapter 11 믿음은 바라는 것들의 실상이요 보이지 않는 것들의 증거니 Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. 선진들이 이로써 증거를 얻었느니라. This is what the ancients were commanded for. 믿음으로 모든 세계가 하나님의 말씀으로 지어진 줄을 우리가 아나니 보이는 것은 나타난 것으로 말미암아 된 것이 아니니라. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. 믿음으로 아벨은 가인보다 더 나은 제사를 하나님께 드림으로 의로운 자라 하시는 증거를 얻었으니 하나님이 그 예물에 대하여 증언하심이라. 그가 죽었으나 그 믿음으로써 지금도 말하느니라. By faith, Abel brought God a better offering than Cain did. By faith, he was commended as righteous when God spoke well of his offerings. And by faith, Abel still speaks, even though he is died. 믿음으로 에녹은 죽음을 보지 않고 옮겨졌으니 하나님이 그를 옮기심으로 다시 보이지 아니하였느니라. 그가 옮겨지기 전에 하나님을 기뻐시게 하는 자라 하는 증거를 받았느니라. By faith, Enoch was taken from this life, so that he did not experience death. He could not be found because God had taken him away. For before he was taken, he was commended as one who pleased God. 믿음이 없이는 하나님을 기쁘시게 하지 못하나니 하나님께 나아가는 자는 반드시 그가 계신 것과 또한 그가 자기를 찾는 자들에게 상 주시는 이심을 믿어야 할지니라. And without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. 믿음으로 노아는 아직 보이지 않는 일에 경고하심을 받아 경외함으로 방주를 준비하여 그 집을 구원하였으니 이로 말미암아 세상을 정죄하고 믿음을 따르는 의의 상속자가 되었느니라. By faith, and Noah, when warned about things not yet seen, in holy fear built an ark to save his family. By his faith, he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness that is in keeping with faith. 믿음으로 아브라함은 부르심을 받았을 때에 순종하여 장래의 유업으로 받을 땅에 나아갈새 갈 바를 알지 못하고 나아갔으며 By faith, Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive as his inheritance, obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going. 믿음으로 그가 이방의 땅에 있는 것 같이 약속의 땅에 거류하여 동일한 약속을 유업으로 함께 받은 이삭과 야곱과 더불어 장막에 거하였으니 By faith he made his home in the promised land, like a stranger in a foreign country. He lived in tents, as did Isaac and Jacob, who were heirs with him of the same promise. 이는 그가 하나님이 계획하시고 지으실 터가 있는 성을 바랐음이라. For he was looking forward to the city with foundations, whose architect and builders is God. 믿음으로 사라 자신도 나이가 많아 단산하였으나 잉태할 수 있는 힘을 얻었으니 이는 약속하신 이를 미쁘신 줄 알았음이라. And by faith, even Sarah, who was past the childbearing age, was enabled to bear children, because she considered him faithful who had made the promise. 이러므로 죽은 자와 같은 한 사람으로 말미암아 하늘의 허다한 별과 또 해변의 무수한 모래와 같이 많은 후손이 생육하였느니라. And so from this one man, and he as good as dead. Came descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as countless as the sand on the seashore. 이 사람들은 다 믿음을 따라 죽었으며 약속을 받지 못하였을 때 그들을 멀리서 보고 환영하여 또 땅에서는 외국인과 나그네임을 증언하였으니 all these people were still living by faith when they died. They did not receive the things promised. They only saw them and welcomed them from a distance, admitting that they were foreigners and strangers on earth. 그들이 이같이 말하는 것은 자기들이 본향 찾는 자임을 나타냄이라. People who say such things show that they are looking for a country of their own. 그들이 나온 바 본향을 생각하였더라면 돌아갈 기회가 있었으려니와 if they had been thinking of the country they had left, they would have had the opportunity to return. 그들이 이제 더 나은 본향을 사모하니 곧 하늘에 있는 것이라. 이러므로 하나님이 그들의 하나님이라 일컬음 받으심을 부끄러워하지 아니하시고 그들을 위하여 한 성을 예비하셨느니라. Instead, they were longing for a better country, a heavenly one. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their Father, their God, for He has prepared a city for them. 아브라함은 시험을 받을 때 믿음으로 이삭을 드렸으니 그는 약속들을 받은 자로 돼 그 외아들을 드렸느니라. By faith, Abraham, when God tested him, offered Isaac as a sacrifice. He who had embraced the promises was about to sacrifice his own and only son. 그에게 이미 말씀하시기를 내 자손이라 칭할 자는 이삭으로 말미암으리라 하셨으니 even though God had said to him, it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. 그가 하나님이 능히 이삭을 죽은 자 가운데서 다시 살리실 줄로 생각한지라 비유컨대 그를 죽은 자 가운데서 도로 받은 것이니라. Abraham reasoned that God could even raise the dead. And so, in a manner of speaking, he did receive Isaac back from death. 믿음으로 이삭은 장차 있을 일에 대하여 야곱과 에사에게 축복하였으며 By faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau in regard to their future. 믿음으로 야곱은 죽을 때 요셉의 각 아들에게 축복하고 그 지팡이 머리에 의지하여 경배하였으며 By faith, Jacob, when he was dying, blessed each of Joseph's sons and worshipped as he leaned on the top of his staff. 믿음으로 요셉은 임종시에 이스라엘 자손들이 떠날 것을 말하고 또 자기 뼈를 위하여 명하였으며 By faith, Joseph, when his end was near, spoke about the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt and gave instructions concerning the burial of his bones. 믿음으로 모세가 났을 때 그 부모가 아름다운 아이임을 보고 석 달 동안 숨겨 왕의 명령을 무서워하지 아니하였으며 By faith, Moses' parents hid him for 3 months after he was born because they saw he was no ordinary child and they were not afraid the king's edict. 믿음으로 모세는 장성하여 바로의 공주의 아들이라 칭함받기를 거절하고 By faith, Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. 도리어 하나님의 백성과 함께 고난받기를 잠시 죄악의 낙을 누리는 것보다 더 좋아하고 He chose to be mistreated along with the people of God rather than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. 그리스도를 위하여 받는 수모를 애굽의 모든 부하보다 더 큰 재물로 여겼으니 이는 상 주심을 바라봅니다. He regarded a disgrace for the sake of Christ as of greater value than the treasures of Egypt because he was looking ahead to his reward. 믿음으로 애굽을 떠나 왕의 노함을 무서워하지 아니하고 곧 보이지 아니하는 자를 보는 것 같이 하여 참았으며 By faith he left Egypt, not fearing the God's king's anger. He persevered. Because he saw him who is invisible. 믿음으로 유월절과 피 뿌리는 예식을 정하였으니 이는 장차 멸하는 자로 그들을 거느리지 않게 하려 한 것이며 By faith he kept the Passover and the application of blood so that the destroyer of the firstborn would not touch the firstborn of Israel. 믿음으로 그들은 홍해를 육지같이 건넜으나 애굽 사람들은 이것을 시험하다가 빠져 죽었으며 By faith the people passed through the Red Sea as on dry land. But when Egyptians tried to do so, they were drowned. 믿음으로 7일 동안 여리고를 도니 성이 무너졌으며 By faith the walls of Jericho fell after the army had marched around them for 7 days. 믿음으로 기생 라합은 정탐꾼을 평안히 영접하였으므로 순종하지 아니한 자와 함께 멸망하지 아니하였도다. By faith the prostitute Rahab, because she welcomed the spies, was not killed with those who were disobedient. 내가 무슨 말을 더하리요? 기드온, 바락, 삼손, 입다, 다윗 및 사무엘과 선지자들의 일을 말하려면 내게 시간이 부족하리로다. And what more shall I say? I do not have time to tell about Gideon, Barak, Samson, and Jephthah, about David and Samuel and the prophets. 그들은 믿음으로 나라를 이기기도 하며 의를 행하기도 하며 약속을 받기도 하며 사자들의 입을 막기도 하며 who through faith conquered the kingdoms, administered justice, and gained what was promised, who shut the mouth of lions. 불의 세력을 멸하기도 하며 칼날을 피하기도 하며 연약한 가운데서 강하게 되기도 하며 전쟁에 용감하게 되어 이방 사람들의 진을 물리치기도 하며 quenched the fury of the flames and escaped the edge of the sword, whose weakness was turned to strength, and became powerful in battle and routed foreign armies. 여자들은 자기의 죽은 자들을 부활로 받아들이기도 하며 또 어떤 이들은 더 좋은 부활을 얻고자 하여 심한 고문을 받되 구차히 풀려가기를 원하지 아니하였으며 Women received back their dead, raised to life again. There were others who were tortured, refusing to be released, so that they might gain an even better resurrection. 또 어떤 이들은 조롱과 채찍질뿐 아니라 결박과 옥에 갇히는 시련도 받았으며 Some faced jeers and flogging, and even chains and imprisonment. 돌을 치는 것과 도구로 켜는 것과 시험과 칼로 죽임을 당하고 양과 염소의 가죽을 입고 유리하여 궁핍과 환난과 학대를 받았으니 They were put to death by stoning. They were sawed in two. They were killed by the sword. They went about in sheepskins and goatskins, destitute, persecuted, and mistreated. 이런 사람은 세상이 감당하지 못하느니라. 그들이 광야와 산과 동굴과 토굴에 유리하였느니라. The world was not worthy of them. They wandered in deserts and mountains, living in caves and in holes in the ground. 이 사람들은 다 믿음으로 말미암아 증거를 받았으나 약속된 것을 받지 못하였으니 These were all commended for their faith, yet none of them received what had been promised. 이는 하나님이 우리를 위하여 더 좋은 것을 예비하셨은즉 우리가 아니면 그들로 온전함을 이루지 못하게 하려 하심이라. Since God had planned something better for us, so that only together with us would they be made perfect.